Good morning and welcome to the port of Warnemunde. This is in Germany. The first time we've ever been to Germany on our adventures. You see this town is pretty good size. It's not huge but not small. And today we're going on an excursion through Viator, going through to Berlin. And Berlin is about 3 hours from the port. So we're going to catch a bus and go to 3 hours to Berlin. And you see on this side of the ship is all residential. So we're going to take you over to the other side of the ship. The other side is pretty much all commercial. As you can see here, shipyards, repair yards, all that kind of stuff is on the other side of this ship. But we'll take you there. And the Viator trip that we have planned for today, it was about $250 for both of us. So about $150 per person, $125 per person to go from here to Berlin, but that's a long drive. So it's like I say, approximately 3 hours, one direction to get to Berlin from here. A few windmills off in the distance too also. I've been seeing a whole lot of ferries come through here. And a few more are still back over in this direction. You can see the ferry right there. So we'll let you know how the journey goes as we go progress along, and we'll see you in a little bit. Like I say, we've already got a tour booked external to the cruise ship, so this trip today is not through the cruise line. But if you were wanting to take a trip through the cruise line, they had a similar trip through them. It was just a lot more, about $400 per person. So we decided the cheaper route. And if you wanted to go real cheap, you could stay right around the port. We had talked to some people and said that it was a lot to do just around the port. But there was a little local celebration going on today, as you saw by the Ferris wheel and the Carnival rides at the end of the pier. As soon as we get off the ship, the tour company is waiting for us at the terminal. They have about 6 buses with names of each person assigned to each bus, and we check it off real fast. And in case you're wondering what this trip entails, it's a full 12-hour tour of Berlin, Germany, both with bus rides and walking. And we leave the port at Warnemunde, I think that's how you pronounce the name, going to Charlottenburg Palace. This is way down here at the edge of Berlin. So this is Berlin right here, and this is where the palace is. This is our first stop, and also where that we'll pick up our tour guide. So he'll join us here for the first time. He was not on the trip from the port. So that 3 hours is all by ourselves, no commentary in the bus. And the first thing that we'll do after we leave that is drive through the town. Here we'll see the Kaiser Wilhelm Church. This is a church that was bombed out after World War II. We just do a drive-by of this. We don't actually get out the bus. We just see it from the bus. But where that we do get out for the first time is over what they call Museum Island. This is where a whole lot of museums and historic buildings are located. Here we'll get out right at this bridge and start our walking tour. And the walking tour is several miles. So if you can't walk good, maybe best to not take this trip at all. But here we'll see the old TV tower. We'll see all the museums just from the outside, not going inside. And of course we'll see the church. This church, you'll hear the bells ring for seems like hours, but probably 20 minutes the bells ring on the church. Also, we'll walk down the street to the Brandenburg Gate. You remember this from World War II. We'll also see the Reichstag. This is where the German headquarters is during World War II. And we'll also see the Holocaust Memorial. Below this area where you see all the blocks standing at is a tribute to them below the street level, so you can't see anything from above ground. Our guide gives us some details of this area, and we'll pass them along to you when we get there. I'm not sure what I expected to see, but from the port all the way into Berlin was a lot of farm country. So a whole lot of it looks just like the U.S., this rural land with crops growing. The only thing different was the occasional car that would come by us doing over 100 miles an hour. Traveling the Audobon on the way to Germany, on the way to Berlin. And if you notice, there's no speed limits on here. So travel whatever the speed that you think is good. Some cars are going fairly slow. Some are going extremely fast. Just stay in the right-hand lane unless you're passing. The Audobon. A German convenience store. What you might see there. So we have all kinds of nuts, chips, popcorn, Pringles. Those are U.S. Don't know what this other stuff is. Never seen that before. In the ice cream section. Got Snickers and all kinds of ice cream. Water. Well, that's normal. Well, look over here. All kinds of candy. We'll have to find something unusual to try. Don't know what these are. Never seen these before. Toys on that side. Some more candy. M&M's. €3 bag. Tony's chocolates. Seen that before. Here's something German. Jägermeister. €9. And then looks like another brand of Jägermeister for a little over €7. All kinds of candy bars that we've seen before. So of those lion bars. So this is what you might see at a convenience store. If you come into the restroom, you may want to pack a few euros because it's a pay restroom. But do note a spot for kids. There they can scoot in for free if they can fit through that hole. And somebody in our group can fit through that hole. We later realized you could pay with a credit card also. I forgot to show you what the convenience store looks like. It's 2-story. And also has a restaurant built in. So on the other side is a restaurant. All kinds of neat stuff over there too. I'll show you what it looks like over here. So you can get a Nordic cheeseburger. Not sure what makes it Nordic. Or you can get a Texas burger. That's probably just a regular hamburger for us. Can't read anything that they say. That big pretzel looks good though. And then big German sausage. That's a big old sausage. We're going to try something different. Snacks on a bus.
Snacks on a bus.
Yeah. So there we have, I don't know the name of this is Hit Cocoa Cookies with chocolate. So we'll try these. You be the first one.
It's like, it's like a little sandwich cookie. Chocolate inside.
We're gonna make a mess. Let's see if I can get one out.
Okay, we live about at the front platform.
Not a lot of flavor. It's good though.
Different.
Like a shortbread.
Yeah, like a shortbread cookie with
A little bit. Not much. But it's good. I would eat it again.
good snacks on a bus.
On our way to Berlin.
Yeah, pretty good. Round 2 of snacks on a bus. Here we have Pringles, paprika flavored Pringles. So
Because why not?
yeah, now we're sharing snacks on the bus.
Yeah.
Paprika.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of flavor. It's like a regular chip.
Different.
Yeah.
Pringles, man, so you think it's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll give that a sideways. Not good, not bad. We'll try again later. More snacks. And soon enough, we met our guide outside of Charlottenburg Palace.
Myself, I'm coming from a state called Saxony-Anhalt. This is right in the middle of Germany, and most Germans know the area for the Harz Mountains. It's quite stunning. This is up in the hills where the Snow White lives with the 7 dwarfs and where the witches ride in their brooms up there at night. But I live in Berlin now since 30 years. Would you like to stretch your legs? They're leaving the bus. Sure. Yeah, cool, let's do that. And if we need a pit stop, there are bathrooms we can use as well. And then I walk with you also in front of the palace you just saw. Huh? Cool, let's do that.
As you can see, the palace complex is huge, and I will not try to pronounce the names. This castle, or palace, was built in the 1600s, but destroyed during World War II and rebuilt. So what you're seeing is a rebuilt construction of it. So I'll put the name of it here shortly.
Up here, we import red wine in them, and the blue. No, someone is very happy. And the blue pipes you can see, they go down to France. We export beer down there. It's a lie. It's a very dirty lie. There's water in, but not drinking water. Those pipes are for draining because of the swamp. No? The table water here in Berlin is under 2 meters. And when they're starting a new building, digging a hole in the ground deeper than 3 meters, the table water comes up.
And this is the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church. Here you can see the destruction after World War II and left just as it set as a memorial. You see the holes on the columns, like right here. These are bullet holes from World War II. Still on the columns after almost 80 years. These are the museum island, they call it. All kinds of museums.
If you want to, but you must be back in half an hour, let's say latest 12:30.
And it is 12 o'clock. And this is the Berlin TV tower, meant to show the West that, well, East Germany is progressing, coming along nicely. But all it did was show the West Germans. The East Germans had it better.
museums here, which are on the World Heritage of the UNESCO. And the first museum here completed is the one right in front of us, completed in 1828. And inside is all about the antique. They can show us statues from the Holy Roman Empire, some Olympic Greek gods they have in there as well. By the way, you girls here in the group, you could skip this museum if you come back to Berlin, look at your husbands, or look at me. And then you have seen everything. I wish. They're having also some girls in there, but they're missing already some body parts. But the most important is still there, the face. And when you check the columns, the columnists here, they...
And the name of the museum is Altes Museum, built in 1823. And if you look at the columns, you'll see all the bullet holes from whenever that Germany and Berlin was falling in the last days. Even the granite cauldron out front has bullet holes still in it. Another thing our guide told us was some of the kids in the summer paint the manhole covers and then take t-shirts and press on it, selling it to tourists as souvenirs of East Berlin. And our guide growing up in East Germany gave us a little history lesson of why it was frowned upon for them to attend church. Because, well, that's what their enemies liked.
And looks also over because the facade is pretty dirty. Now, this is all from the pollution. Just imagine there was times where the locals here was heating their homes during the winter season with coal. And then the pollution up there, the rain, the mixture is acid to sandstone. And this is all the other buildings, sandstone. And they can't get rid of the black parts. They can light it up a little bit, but they reduce too much pressure, the sandstone will disappear. And in World War II, the big massive green dome on top of the church was blown up. There used to be a hole from the roof all the way down to the basement. Now, the communist government was an atheist government. It's the reason why I'm not religious. At school even, they didn't taught us anything about different religions, Catholics, Lutherans, Jews, Muslims, and Buddhists, and so on. But the church was tolerated. The East Germans could go to church, but the Stasi, the secret police, would keep an eye on people going there because the church had connections to the enemy's west. And
this is the famous Brandenburg Gate in Germany. And if you're looking for other favorite places in Germany, just on the other side is a Hotel Audobon. You may remember this also. This is where Michael Jackson was hanging his baby out the window. Not so famous though as the Brandenburg Gate. And in case you're wondering what this gate looked like at the end of World War II, our guide came with pictures showing exactly what it looked like and the destruction around the area. And we're going to walk through the Brandenburg Gate. Just on the other side, hang a left, and that's where the adventure will continue. But if you look through the Brandenburg Gate, there's a statue with a gold tip on it. And now you can see the chick on a stick just to the left of the left street light with the golden statue on top. And that's chick on a stick came from the American soldiers as a reference point. They didn't know what to call it, so that was their name. And on the Brandenburg Gate, if you notice real close, there's spots all over it. These are also bullet holes all over the gate. And we took a picture earlier of some of the damage around here. This was basically the only part still standing after World War II. So here, you could see the road goes out and makes an arch around the Brandenburg Gate and goes on. This is also where the Berlin Wall once stood. So we are standing right where the Berlin Wall once was. But in the old days, if we were standing here, we would be shot. Here you can see the double pavers going down the middle of the road. And our guide was telling us that in school they were taught that the Berlin Wall was built to keep the West out of East Berlin, because the West was evil. And continuing on our journey, the next stop is the Holocaust Memorial. Here, a solemn place. Walking across the monuments of the Holocaust Museum. Each block is the same, with different heights, and has no meaning. But below here is a Holocaust museum that also lists every name known in the Holocaust. I'm not sure how many there actually were, but apparently if you read all of them, it will take you 6 years. The Holocaust Museum in the middle of Berlin. A fitting image here, the Reichstag, which is the German headquarters in World War II, sits in the distance with the U.S. Embassy standing right next to the Holocaust Museum, as if saying, even in death, we'll still stand by you. And this is the exact spot where Hitler killed himself in his underground bunker, not marked in by anything except a couple little signs. Germany is a little embarrassed of him.
The bunker was massive, an underground bunker. The cotton tree, this taller tree, roughly there, you can say the bunker was starting, crossing over the parking lot and crossing over the street. 15 meters down on the ground, these are 45 feet, on 2 floors, 30 rooms. And Hitler was in Berlin the last few months of his life. He had to be as der Führer, means leader. He had to be in Berlin, and then Berlin got more and more bombed by the Allies, and Hitler had to move down into his bunker. His fiancée Eva Braun joined him as well, and the entire Goebbels family. Dr. Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's Minister of Propaganda, with his wife Magda, and the Goebbels had 6 children together.
Our next stop on our bus adventure is Checkpoint Charlie, or as our guide called it, Snack Point Charlie, as you can see by all the fast food restaurants. Here we had about an hour to get something to eat, see Checkpoint Charlie, and go to all the souvenir stands that were in the area. Pretty neat because this was a bustling area, and of course it was also bustling at the time of the Berlin Wall, as here you would have to go through this unassuming station to go from one side of Berlin to the other. All these restaurants and souvenir stands are built right on top of where the Berlin Wall once stood. And here you can see that we're leaving the American sector. In this picture you can see where Berlin is just a speck in the middle of Russian-controlled territory. And this is why that they had the Berlin Wall wrapped all around the city. Here you can see where we're standing at once looked like, and also a tense standoff between the Allies and the Russians during a pivotal period of Berlin's history and the Berlin airlift. And with pictures taken and souvenirs procured, it's time to live up to Snack Point Charlie's reputation. Time to get a bite to eat. And our guide sent us to a restaurant nearby. And the bratwurst tastes like a hot dog. So nothing really fancy about it. Pretty much like an American hot dog. This, which is a boulette pommes, tastes like meatloaf. Pretty much same as meatloaf. So, but both are good. And you can't leave Germany without a good beer and a Coke Zero. All the souvenir stands has this bear as the Berlin's mascot, and I found a life-size version at our next stop, the Berlin Wall. Here, the Berlin Wall is still intact in places. And in this area, they had stories on the wall telling of how some families managed to escape going out of East Germany into West Germany. There, they can meet up with the rest of their family and live out a better life. This is the Berlin Wall, and some of the famous escapes of the Berlin Wall was from this building, which was the German Ministry of Ministry. What happened was they went to the top of the building, and a worker up here threw a wire over the building, over the wall, and they hooked it up to a car, and they zip-lined across the Berlin Wall to freedom. This was one of the most traumatic escapes from Russia at the time, who controlled the east side of Berlin. Some of the vintage cars going down Germany. This was from the time of the Berlin Wall when these were made. My guide was telling us the average Wait time for one of these cars, like the blue one that you see at the corner, was 12 to 15 years. That was the wait lot time to buy one of those cars. The blue one, and behind it, a green one. And as we leave, our tour guide showed us where you could take a vintage car tour around the city. Another pay bathroom, but this time there's something different. This time it has where kids can go for free. So if you could fit through that opening, you're good. That's a kid's door. But everybody else, 70 cents. Okay, Cheryl's.
I'm gonna bring my food in there.
Okay, I'll take it. So that's the way you get around paying the 70 cents.
Oh my God, you didn't get my butt.
Snacks on a bus, part 2. This time, bugles. But not any bugles, these are paprika bugles. We had paprika chips, but now paprika bugles.
Paprika seems to be a thing around here.
Yeah, most of the chips over there had paprika in them. You wouldn't think paprika would be a thing, but these are Lay's
Pretty good.
with paprika. It's a different flavor.
Not bad.
I would say maybe a sideways on this. You're a thumbs up? Cheryl gives it a thumbs up. I am a thumb sideways on this one. Not good, not bad. Different. We'll try again something else in a second. My next thing to try on the bus was a beer. It was strong, but it was also good. Again, on the Audobon back to the port, you can see the cars flying by the bus. We're doing probably 70 miles per hour. They're probably doing close to 100. No speed limit though, so nothing illegal to see here. And once back on the ship, we have our traditional towel animal friend waiting for us on the bed. And since we were late getting back to the ship, we decided, we're not going to go to dinner tonight. We missed it anyway. Our dining time was 5:30. We got back onto the ship at about 6:30. All aboard was supposed to be around 7. So we skipped and instead opted for a sandwich, I think is what we had. So something simple, something fast, and we were good with that. Of course, on the ship all these days, you got to eat some days a little bit lighter than others. And we'd had a good bit to eat today in Germany with all the snacks. So a sandwich was perfect for us tonight. An odd ferry right here. This ferry has a big tube in the center of it. And the tube in the center is essentially a windmill. This generates power for the ferry, and it has batteries on the inside that will charge. But whenever the batteries run low, the engines kick in and generate power for the ship and charge the batteries. So a hybrid ferry.
Later than scheduled. The test will begin around midnight and the team expects to finish by 2:30 a.m.
And as we get ready for bed, we just heard that captain's announcement come over the intercoms in the hallways. Seems like they're running some tests on the engines and won't be complete until 2 a.m. in the morning. So if you were out exploring Berlin and were running a little late, you could still catch the ship. But ups, we were there plenty early. I think we were on the ship 30 minutes early tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed this long video of Berlin, because after all, we were in port over 12 hours, so it was a long day for us today. And if you did like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and with the bell notification. That way you'll be informed of each show that whenever it comes out. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.